This lush equatorial vegetation covering this huge escarpment in the Albertine Rift Valley is due to the moisture derived from the river Masika flowing into the valley below. But this rich vegetation does not cover the entire escarpment. Vast areas of it are dry savanna grassland owing to the lack of adequate moisture. The water flowing in the river is also not very clean, meaning that the communities that live here have had to make do with water that is not safe for human consumption. Most people in this community survive on less than $1 a day, and the only source of water that they do have is the one from Lake Albert. Now, the water happens to be contaminated because so many people use it for different domestic uses. The only other option is the water from River Masika, which is a distance away, and it costs 1,000 shillings to get a jerrycan. However, hope of some sort has come to this community. It is in form of harvesting of water from the River Masika. The gravity flow scheme was financed by Heritage Oil and Gas Limited after it discovered oil in the area. The scheme is located between 600 and 790 meters above the ground. The water flows through pressure induced by gravity. The water is distributed through pipes to beneficiary villages below, where it is received in several taps that have been installed for the consumers. This water is coming all the way from River Masika and it's headed down to Lake Albert, but it's gushing down at a speed of 100 liters per second. Now, it is at this point that the GI pipe is laid down to capture the water that leads it to the said tank. The scheme draws off only 10 liters of water per second in order not to disturb the natural flow of the river. The drawn off water is then treated through a dosing system. 1 drop per second of alum is fed into the water to purify it before it leaves the sedimentation tank. After it has been cleaned up, it moves into the reservoir tank that can hold up to 63,000 cubic liters of water. It's from this tank that it is led to flow to the beneficiary communities below.
And the pressure coming from the fact that the whole tank and the sediment tank are on the escarpment, pressure itself and gravity help push the water all the way through the pipelines. As it is, it's running at 120 psi pressure, so there's plenty of water, about 6,000 liters coming out every hour. There's plenty of water for everybody. We've used plastic pipes which have been underfilled in the ground, so there's no room for tampering with them.
The kind of concept which is based on getting water from a flowing river and a waterfall was not easy to set up due to the terrain.
So getting materials up to the escarpment, pipelines, stones, cement, wire mesh, the tank itself was a massive challenge. And with Buhuka being on a Rift Valley, bottom, there isn't like a road leading from the main town. So we had to either bring in materials on a barge from Bego, or people had to physically carry them down the escarpment.
But the communities that are now consuming the water are appreciative of the scheme.
Before, we used to fall sick. Now we're safe.
Sana.
Sinatumia. Ingine sina tawa ya huko ya Nyakati, alafu wanapiga mzuri, lakini kama wanatumia, lakini wengine natumia hivyo tu.
This scheme, however, is unique in that efforts have been made to clean up the water before it is consumed by the beneficiaries. Water that is harvested without being purified often may contain animal and bad waste matter. It may also contain mosses and lichens, wind-blown dust, particulates from the urban pollution, and pesticides. Thus, sustaining such a scheme may not be an easy task, but this one has been specifically designed to ensure that it maintains itself.
It's been designed in a way that it sustains itself with very little maintenance. There is no pumping system. There is a very simple sedimentation and filtration system. It's going to save them a lot of money because this is a project for the community. It's not provided by the national water grid.
Water harvesting technologies like these are not simple to install, But when in place, they come with the convenience of providing water right at the point of consumption. It also comes with an added advantage that such poor rural communities are in full control of their own systems, and this means a substantial reduction of problems of water safety. Craig Kadoda, NTV, EcoTalk.